We've got this from CNN. Trump doubles down on his criticism of slain director Rob Reiner. First, let me give you the quick news for those that have missed this story. I think everybody's seen it. Reiner's son, arrested in the deaths of his parents. They say Nick Reiner, 32, is being held without bail on suspicion of murder after the bodies of the director Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle were found in their home. They say his son, we know this, the arrest on Sunday came the day after the father and son were seen arguing at a party at the home of the comedian Conan O'Brien, according to a party attendee who recalled Rob Reiner telling his son that his behavior was inappropriate. The attendee, who asked not to be named to maintain relationships, did not speak to any of the Reiners at the party and added that it was unclear what the argument was about. The son, Nick Reiner, 32, was arrested Sunday night and was being held in jail in L.A. County, the police said. Jail records viewable online initially indicated that bail had been set at $4 million, but those records had since been modified. He was being held without bail, the police said. So according to numerous reports, they were saying that they were found with stab wounds or their throats slit. Horrifying story. We've got this from CNN addressing Donald Trump's statements. Let's play it.
Trump has already come under criticism for what he has said on his Truth Social platform about Rob Reiner. He accused him of having Trump derangement syndrome. He said he was known to have driven people crazy by his raging obsession with Donald Trump. He called him tortured and struggling, but once very talented. This is what he had to say, of course, upon learning that Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle had passed away. Trump then, just a few moments ago, had this to say in a Q&A with reporters. Let's take a look.
Well, I wasn't a fan of his at all. He was a deranged person as far as Trump is concerned. He said he knew it was false. In fact, it's the exact opposite, that I was a friend of Russia, controlled by Russia. You know, it was the Russia hoax. He was one of the people behind it. I think he hurt himself in career-wise. He became like a deranged person, Trump derangement syndrome. So I was not a fan of Rob Reiner at all in any way, shape, or form. I thought he was very bad for our country.
Homie, it sounds like Trump has Trump derangement syndrome.
Trump has Trump derangement syndrome?
He even talked about himself in the third person when they followed up and asked him to clarify, are you really going to stand behind the comments earlier? He's like, yeah, that's something Trump would think. Like, it's something like that. Like, dude, what? They didn't ask him if he was a fan of Rob Reiner. I don't know what their leading question was there, but I'm sure it wasn't that. It's just really gruesome. This is why people hated him in 2016 and didn't want to vote for him. It's why people hated him in 2020 and didn't want to vote for him. This is why. Is because he says stuff like this.
You know, I talked to a fair amount of folks, and the sentiment is fairly universal that this is not the way to handle it. Donald Trump, of course, I think his points are valid, but there's a time and a place. You know what I mean? Rob Reiner was a Hollywood legend, and we want to go back to a time when we disagreed. And this is what I was saying this morning. The disagreements are actually how we solve problems in this country. When one person on the left says, I want this tax policy, and the person on the right says no, and then we work out what is the best way to go about it, and then people vote for the reps will come and then backstab the American people and then cater to the big banks, the corporations, and big pharmaceuticals, and then nothing ever gets done.
And then we all get screwed together.
Anyway, I'm on a tangent now. My point is, this was an opportunity for Trump to be magnanimous. Everybody's basically saying, I know Rob was, Trump derangement syndrome or whatever, but that era of movies, those movies are the American culture we want to remember. Princess Bride, it's one of the greatest films of all time. Even though the story's a little wonky, it's weird, but it's just so good, so memorable. And I can probably recite the whole thing from memory. Trump had an opportunity to actually say, I know the guy hated me. I know the guy had said bad things about me, but I'm truly sad to see this happen. He did that with Ruth Bader Ginsburg. So
I was thinking, even just a couple of weeks ago with Zoran Mondani, with the way he brought him in and put his big arm around him. I mean, those were attacks going both ways, but it's not like Trump doesn't understand how to do that. He doesn't, in that moment, I thought that was amazing. He makes it like he's his best friend, even though he's like the most liberal, / communist person ever grab office in New York. But Donald Trump brings him in, is totally friendly, congratulates him, amazing job. And so when I saw this, I was like, it's not like Trump doesn't understand the power of sort of playing the nice card, right? I'm in the power position. I can say whatever I want. And in this situation, he just seemed to let it go and decide to let it seems like I don't want to say rage, certainly anger towards everything he's been through. He's been through a lot. I get it, but these are the last statements made. Why not play nice and take the upper hand?
I think that this
easy.
is. I think this is. I mean, it's typical Trump. I do think that it was bad. I think that he should have been magnanimous. But at the same time, this is going to go away in like one news cycle. No one's going to remember what he said about Rob Reiner. It's a horrible story, the way that Rob Reiner died and his wife died. It's allegedly his son that did it. Obviously we have to see what comes out, and I don't have any kind of inside information about that. I'm only going by reports. But it's a terrible, terrible tragedy to hear that a family was murdered like that by their own kid. The poor daughter is going to be absolutely devastated, of course. So, like, it's a terrible thing. Like I said, I wish Trump had been a little more magnanimous, but honestly, it's going to go away because people are going to find the next thing to be outrageous at Trump about. And to your point, Ian, earlier, like, I do think that you have some point when you're like, oh, this is one of the things that people hated about Trump was the way that he would behave. But I don't think that if he were a magnanimous person all the time and spoke softly and was kind, I don't think the left would have a significantly different opinion on him if his policies were the same, right? The idea that we have to build the wall, the idea that we need to deport illegals, those kind of things are just a total affront to what the left stands for. And I think that no matter how he delivers those messages, they're going to call him a Nazi. They're going to call him all the names. So I understand what you're saying. And to a degree, I think you have a bit of a point. But I think overall, it doesn't matter what Trump says. The policies that Trump wants to have, the left are going to act like he is the worst thing ever. Yeah. Remember what they called George Bush? Remember what they called Mitt Romney? And Mitt Romney was the most milquetoast, soft-spoken, polite, politically correct guy you could possibly find in the Republican Party.
Yeah, but I mean, I will say it's really hard to take criticism from and browbeating from people who dunked all over Charlie Kirk when he died, people that ran cover for a candidate in Virginia who threatened to kill Republicans. I mean, it's like, it's one thing if it's an internal discussion among MAGA, like, okay, was this appropriate? Was it not? But seeing the left come out and, try to hold Trump's feet to the fire. I mean, we had multiple people coming out saying, Trump's been given the off-ramp at every moment, or Trump supporters have been given the off-ramp at every moment. And it's like, when is enough? And it's like, Trump was brought in to disrupt the status quo. You got to take the good with the bad. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, Ben Shapiro makes this point all the time, and it's a good point. It's like, look, sometimes Trump hits the nail on the head. Sometimes he hits a baby. It is what it is. But there's truth. It's like, I'm not going to take criticism and lectures from people that want me dead. I mean, that's just the reality of the situation.
But the point is we're trying to present the American people with an alternative to what the left has been doing. And if Charlie Kirk is murdered and then they're jumping up and down dancing, you guys see that viral video of that woman with the fake, dressed like Erica Kirk dancing around while wiping her eyes to music or whatever?
Yeah.
Just, they're going to keep celebrating the murder. They're going to keep mocking the widow because she's not grieving the way they want her to. And Trump has an opportunity to come out and say, that's not us. We don't do that. And this is the point. When all of the weird woke cancel culture stuff was happening, the point was the right was saying, guys, if you're scared of losing your job because those wackos are telling you can't speak, come to our side where we allow you to speak, where no one's going to fire you from your job because you said naughty words or a joke. The position now is, well, I do agree. I'm not going to listen to any one of these wacko lefties who are dancing on Charlie's grave. But I will then say, this is an opportunity for Trump to be like, we're not going to do what they do. Mm-hmm. We are going to be the side where that people will genuinely feel bad if you were to die.
When he started saying, well, Rob Reiner had TDS. I don't know. He didn't say he had it coming, but he was basically saying, well, this guy had all these problems, so he's kind of justifying why he got murdered. That was what they were doing about Charlie Kirk. Well, he was a Trump guy, so he had it coming. Like, it's the exact same state of mind. You start victim blaming or like describing how they. And I think it is a cycle. And if you do it, next guy's going to do it again. And then if you don't have someone that shuts the door, it's going to do it again and again and again.
I've heard these stories over and over again. And it was the great Daniel Negreanu, who I referenced recently over things like this with Trump derangement syndrome. It's perfect now that we're in Vegas, because the story he told us on the show was he really believed Trump was all the things they accused him of doing until his buddy actually made him watch the Very Fine People hoax video. And he thought he knew, and that's why he hated Donald Trump, because Trump was doing all these things. He watched the full video finally, and that's when it clicked that Trump never called Nazis fine people. Mm-hmm. he realized he was wrong and opened up the door, and he was like, maybe I'm wrong about some other things too, and started looking into it.
Yeah.
My point is, we have to, for a lot of these people, create that opportunity to come over, show them the door, right? And I'll put it like this, guys. To be completely honest, this is actually rather tepid on Trump's part. I don't think he's had anything super egregious.
Yeah.
He's like, well, TDS, Trump derangement. I was no fan. It's like, you could be nicer. But it's nothing compared to what the left has been doing. So I still do think we capture a little bit of that. We're nicer.
Sure.
It's just that I think it's a better opportunity to say, come hang out with us. We're not gonna dance on your grave.
Does he have a comms director? I mean, I don't know if you would
Trump?
know.
Not the one, not one
Not one that he
listens
listens
to. No one would want that job. You certainly don't want your name on that job.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a
I mean,
great
look, I
gig,
don't
yeah.
think he said what you said. I don't think he said he had it coming or anything like that. I mean, I haven't really
didn't.
dissected the information down, but it's basically this guy's been an a-hole my entire existence here. We're not friends. And I'm going to just have one last statement about that. It lacks, something. But everyone that says, I wish that Donald Trump spoke better. If he just spoke better. I mean, even in 2020 when he didn't take the presidency, that was the whole thing. Like if he just spoke better. The way he speaks got the largest vote in Republican history. And I want to make this point too clear about the Joe Biden, that 2020 election, that not only did he get more Republican votes than anyone in history, I don't believe anyone that year voted for Joe Biden. They voted against Donald Trump. We have never seen anything like this human being ever on this planet where 100% of the vote was about one guy. And I know something. I get a lot of negative energy in what I do, and you get used to either you're going to get crushed by it, or you start using it as fuel, and you start using it to wake people up and get more sound bites and go viral or whatever it is. I think these are those moments where he gets so used to any attention is good attention, and I don't know what he's trying to distract us from this week. There might be something out there, but I think this is a moment where he just misplayed it. But I agree, it's just lacks taste.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
'cause
it's tepid.
you're seeing a lot of people on the right like really pearl clutching over this, and I'm just like, to your point. I mean, with Trump, if he succumbs to the demands of people on the right that are like, oh, he just needs to speak better, he needs to tone it down, he would just perform as well as every other Republican that gets walloped when it's a non-Trump year. All these people that are perfect consultant class. I was like, Trump's rough around the edges. You got to take the good at the bad, because when he's on, and no one else is there. He's a tone setter. I just kind of take the J.D. Vance position that he had with the Politico article where that group chat leaked, where he was just like, look, it's really hard to get worked up over a statement like this. Like Tim said, it's tepid at best. Same thing with the Politico group chat leak. It's really hard to get worked up over that when can we take a look at what they're doing, where they're actively, wishing the death of their political rivals? I mean, like, what are we doing?
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.